and thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to be pouring two different molds that I've never poured before. This is the large skull mold, and I ordered it some time ago because I needed the smaller skulls, and it was a package of the large and four skull molds. And this is the smallest of the rectangular molds that I recently ordered. Now this one is a 2 by 2 by 6, and it holds 14 ounces. And the skull is a 4 by 3.5, and it holds 11 ounces. Now on the skull, if you watch the video Resin Mistakes, Failures of Valuable Lessons, you know that I had a lot of trouble finding skeletons or skulls when I needed them. So what I ended up having to do was I found a package of skeleton garland, and there was like six of these little plastic skeletons on the garland. I still have one intact because I actually needed the skull, so I dismantled that part. And this one I may just save for some other project. If you have any suggestions, leave those in the comments below. And I still have two right here that are almost fully intact, and if I need to use these bits and pieces, I will. But what I did with the other three was I took them apart, I dismantled them. And what I want to do with these is I actually want to put them inside of this skull mold and pour clear in there just to see what we have. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I need to use these for something. So I thought, why not put them inside the skull? So that's what I'm going to do with that one. And that's just going to be clear. And I know that I'm going to have to pour a little at a time because I did find out when I was working with that spear in the Resin Mistakes video that these parts do float. So I will be pouring those a little bit at a time. And if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description box below. Now for the rectangular mold, this is a special request, and she requested that I use the blue mica and the copper. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just like pour clear, blue, and mica, and do that probably in 2 to 3 different pours. The clear, the blue, the mica all at once. Let it cure a little bit, and then do that again until it's full to the top. Now her dad is going to take this when it's finished and drill holes in it to make a makeup brush for her. So I will see if a makeup brush holder for her. So I will see if they will send me some pictures of that when it's finished. And if so, I will definitely share it with you. So the first thing I want to do is, this mold does require some stability because we don't want, when you pour it, we don't want it to be cattywampus. So what I really like about these molds is the fact that these little this border came with it so that we can stabilize it. So let's get that on there. And let's see if we can get this one on there. Let's see if we can get it on there. There we go. I know that it's important to make sure that it's even on the bottom, and it appears to be. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and it looks like we're going to be using a lot. That being said, I'm just going to do this little by little, and probably the same thing here. So I will get some resin mixed up, and then we will start pouring. I have the resin mixed, and I mixed 100 milliliters of the A, 100 milliliters of the B, which is approximately 3.4 ounces of each. Now I have already mixed the blue mica in the cup. I'm going to let that settle to look for some, to check for, you see how the powder just kind of comes to the top. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute. I'm going to pour a little bit of the clear in the skull, and then we will pour this, and then I'll go back in and put the pieces in the skull little by little. So let me just pour a little bit in the skull. I need to make sure I reserve some of the clear. For the rectangle skull mold. So let me let that sit. I'm going to move it out of the way a little bit, not knock it over. And let me pull this over here. You may be able to see it better if I do it that way. So let me set the clear down, give the blue and the bronze another stir, because that mica powder floats to the top, and I don't want little dry mica specks all over my piece when it's finished. But that blue is so pretty. I just love the cobalt blue. I'm going to let that set and get rid of some bubbles. And then same with the, I don't know if you can see down in there, if you can see the little powder specks, but that's what we don't want. And I mixed more blue than I did copper because I want blue to be the predominant. And I have no idea how these two are going to go together, but I guess we'll find out when we're finished. So I'm going to start, I'm going to pour less clear than the other two colors. That kind of start doing his thing, and I'm trying real hard to pour into the center of the mold. I'm going to go in with some blue. And now some copper. And I am just going to continue to do that. A little more clear. I have no idea what to expect. Will it be a crackle? Will it be a marble? Will it be a mess? I don't know. More blue. Maybe a little more blue. Some more copper. Some clear. More blue. Let's just put almost all of that in there. Leave a little bit. Same with the copper. Leave just a little bit. And see if we can't do this one more time. I mean, so far it looks kind of cool. With resin, you just never know. Save the last little bit of that. All right, I'm going to pour the rest of the blue. Let me see if I can't get that scraped. Use as much of it as I can. And try to get it all in the center. A little bit more. Same with the copper. Whoops. Let me scrape as much of that as I can. And then the rest of the clear. And see if I cannot make too much of a mess. Okay. Now I'm going to clean the edges of this off. I really don't know what to expect, but it actually filled it a lot fuller than I expected. Let me set these cups out of the way so we can work on the skull. And what I will do is let this set for a few hours. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it has set for real long, just long enough that it's cooled and I don't have to worry about a flash cure. So let me bring this over here. And once I get these little pieces and parts in there, I will give you a peek see down in there. Let me get the sticky off my gloves. And ideally what I want to do is I want to, when I put these in, I really prefer the front parts to be facing the outside of the skull. So let's go ahead and start with that one. And I know that I'm going to have to worry about them floating, but let me see if I can press that one down in there. And I guess this one. Let's see what else. What else do we have? I think I want to turn that one over. I don't want the little knobs on there showing. Let's see if we can find a hand. I want to set that this way, I think. I almost feel like I need to add something else. Let's put another hand in there. I still have two I can dismantle if I need to. And I am trying to make sure that like they're sticking up a little bit so that when I pour another layer, it'll look more like one pour versus if it's like just a flat surface. So, maybe we will do another foot, like right there. All right. I'll give you a peek see in there, and again, I'm going to let this, let me give it some thumbs. I'm not real familiar with the bigger mold here, but I know that the little one likes to get bubbles. The little ones do. So let me give it some thumps. And I will kind of try to bubble sit. Let me move some stuff around. I will try to bubble sit this and the other one. And I don't think that they have to be in here. I don't think I have to wait very long before I should be able to pour another coat simply because I'm just going to wait for them to heat up and cool off and then pour some more. But let's give you a peek, see in there. That's what we have so far. I have no idea what to expect, but I guess we'll find out together. And then there's that one. And those colors really do look pretty together. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this set for a little bit. Let me give it a cover. And we'll let it set for a little bit, and let it do its heat up thing and cool down thing. And then I will do another pour. So I will see you then. And the resin is soft, so it should be safe to pour. Now, if you'll notice in the skeleton mold, I went ahead and poked a couple of more pieces in there. And something I did also off camera after the fact was I did some thumps with this just for fear that there may be bubbles in the corners where they like to hang out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour some more clear in the skeleton mold and let it set while we work on the other one. And I want to pour even more. Now with the skeleton, I definitely want to give it some good thumps. Because I don't want any air bubbles to form. All right, let's go ahead and start with this one. I've already mixed the mica up. And I'm going to start with just a little bit of clear. And I just want a little bit, I think. Because I ended with clear. So we'll just start with some clear. And then we'll do like we did before. We'll do the blue and the copper. Let's give that some stirs. And I'm thinking about on this one, maybe actually making that last layer clear. I don't know. I haven't made my mind up yet. But it might give it some depth once it's turned into a makeup brush holder. I don't know. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, let me add a little more clear. Oops. It was more than I wanted, but that's okay. Some blue. We may have enough to do one more round. And I mixed up way too much bronze this time. Some bronze. Yeah, I think I mixed up more bronze than I did blue this time. Clear. Blue. We may have enough to do one more layer after this. Bronze. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I run out. Let me see if I can scrape that last little bit out of the blue. Almost there. Every little drop counts. Okay. Some more bronze. Oops. Sure, I'm good at splashing. Maybe a little more. And then top it off with some clear. And I'm going to put the rest of this clear. I splashed that all the way up on this other mold. It can sure be sloppy. I'm going to put the rest of this clear in the skeleton mold. See if I can't scrape that out. And it looks like the skeleton may take 2 more pours. We'll see. It's a pretty big mold. All right. Let me set that aside. Get some of the sticky off my glove and off the side of this. All right, I'm going to give this some thumps like I did off camera just in case there's bubbles. And let's go ahead and start. And I dismantled another skeleton. And I accidentally broke that one. I thought, well, that may just be a happy little accident. So we'll see what we end up with. So I'm just going to try to place these around. And again, I do want some of them in part of the resin and then sticking out the other side so that it doesn't, so that it's not just like a straight flat line, so that you can tell where the different pores are at. And I will give you a peek see in here too when I'm done. I don't know if that'll fit. I may have to do something with that one. Let's go ahead and just let me place this one. I kind of want it pointed in the other direction. See if I can poke it down in there a little bit, but I need it to be down under the mold. Yeah, I do see a big bubble in there. And there may end up being a lot of bubbles. All right, let's see here. Let me see if I can. Oh, no, 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 not that. That is not what I wanted to do. Let me get that cleaned off. There. Now let's try this again. Let me get these cleaned off. I really want some kind of poking up over here too. Maybe another hand. See if I can do it that way. Just need it underneath the mold. All right, I think I'm going to stop there because it looks pretty full in there, full of plastic parts. Let me give you a peek, see? And we will just see how that goes. I do want to give it some thumps and of course do the whole bubble sitting thing. And in it, I guess it was about 2.5 hours. So in about 2.5 hours, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, I don't know. I'm sure thinking about finishing this off with just a clear coat. Maybe not. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pour this like I did the last 2 times. I will pour some clear in here and add some more plastic. And I'll continue to do that until I have them domed. And then I will come back for the unmolding. So I will see you in approximately 24 hours, a little bit more, but around that time frame. So it's been probably closer to 30 hours, and it's time to do the unmolding. Now on this one, I did do a third pour, and then I went just a little thin coat of the clear on the very top, because I started thinking I didn't want to put too much clear because we have no idea what it's going to look like on the other sides. But that's what it looks like on top, and I think that's pretty. But let's go ahead and unmold it and see what we've got. It's heavy. And I've never worked with this mold, so I don't know how hard or easy it's going to be. That wasn't too bad. Ooh, that is kind of cool. That really looks cool in there. Now you can tell the different pores, but those almost look like water waves. And the bottom kind of looks like a crackle, but not exactly. But I think it turned out pretty cool. I am hoping that once they make this into a makeup brush, that they will send some pictures to us or to me so that I can share. But I think the sides of that really looks cool. Let me set that aside. Now this one gave me fits. It did take a total of 4 pours. And the last pour, because everything wanted to float, it just gave me fits. I did end up dismantling all the extra little skeleton parts that I had without the skulls. I do still have this one left. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. By all means, put some suggestions in the comments below. Maybe we can come up with a good idea for this one. Okay, let's see. And again, I've never unmolded this either. So, oh, I did want to mention, I did like pinch the where the cheekbones are at, and hopefully there's no air in there. I'm hoping what I'm seeing there is a piece of the plastic and not a big air bubble. So let's see how hard or easy this is going to be. It's heavy too. Turn it over. And I really hope this turns out cool. It's hard to tell what it's going to look like. At the very least, it'll be different, right? It's starting to come off. Okay, it feels like it's coming off. There we go. Ooh, wow. Look at that. And I did find one of the skulls at the very end, and I think that's why I had so many fits. Everything was floating up. Oh, but that, let me check the cheekbones. No, no air bubbles. That was just a piece of plastic in there. Let me move some of this out of the way. Maybe you can see it better. There's the side. And I'm just surprised. I really expected to see a lot of air bubbles in that. There's the back. And the other side. It's different. That's for sure. But I think it turned out pretty cool. I should have probably put some red glitter or something in those eyes, but I didn't. But that's the big skull mold. And I already have a request to do something else with this skull mold, with this skull mold. So maybe that'll be a future video. So let me know what you think. I did want to tell you that This was the biggest pour I've ever done in one day. And it ended up being like 25.4 ounces. And that's in 4 different pours, 3 for this one and four for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Again, I want to thank you, and I will see you next time.